Hello, my name is Louis-Philippe. I'm a librarian at the Millennium Public Library, and today I would like to share with you a few of my recommendations from our local history collection. The first three titles are available as ebooks on our Overdrive database and can be downloaded if you have a library membership in good standing. The first title I would like to recommend is Friends, Foes, and Furs, a diary that was edited by Harry Duckworth. It's the daily account of George Nelson's experiences working the fur trade at the very beginning of the 19th century. George Nelson was 18 years old when he became a clerk for the Northwest Company. He moved in the area near Lake Winnipeg and worked at various trading forts and supply depots in the area. And this is a very vivid account of what it took to live and survive in an environment that was difficult, both because of the terrain and the weather. You had to fend and supply yourself with your own food. He had a very respectful way of describing the various people that he encountered. He had positive experiences with voyageurs and hunters from the Cree and Ojibwe community. And the diary is full of anecdotes that enlivens the account, so it's easy to read. And Harry Duckworth provides plenty of contextual information to make us understand the larger picture, the historical context, and also provides the biographies of the people that are mentioned in the diary, as well as information of the various locations where he traveled. So I highly recommend read. If you're interested in the fur trade, but this time from an indigenous point of view, I would recommend Leonard's Flett's memoirs of his experience working for the fur trade. The book is called From the Barren Lands, and it tells the stories of working for the Northwest and Hudson Bay Company in the 1960s and 70s in the northern indigenous communities of Manitoba, Ontario, and Saskatchewan. Now, Leonard Flett's ancestors started with his great-grandfather who were all fur traders, so he had obviously the vocation in his blood. So this is a story of his life as a fur trader in the last decades of the fur trade, really. But he also tells the larger stories of how the indigenous communities of Northern Canada transformed themselves from a fur trade-based economy toward a more retailed economy that was more suited and still maintain their identity and as indigenous people. Next would be another recommendation about the history of Winnipeg, but that is thankfully now better known, is Evelyn Peters' book about the history of Rooster Town. Now, Rooster Town was created by about 15 Métis families that decided to take advantage of the economic boom happening in Winnipeg in the first years of the 20th century. Now, they built their own homes at the southern edge of the city, but they never had access to running waters or electricity because they still wanted to keep their Métis heritage and were satisfied in living on the fringe. And for decades, they managed to make a living and prosper. But the city wanted to encourage suburban development and eventually forced them to resettle in the North Ends in the last years of the 1950s. And this is a story that was mostly ignored for decades afterward, but thanks to the excellent research of Evelyn Peters, this has now been corrected, and this is a highly valuable book to read if you're interested in this aspect of our history. And finally, a book by Kristen Treusch, which is available in the local history room. It's the story of the Vaughan City Jail, which used to be called actually the Provincial Gaol. It's called Forgotten History, the Untold Stories of Manitoba's First Provincial Jail. Now, Kristen has been an activist to try to raise the profile of the Vaughan City Jail for years, thanks to her work and the work of others who have worked to promote the heritage value of the building. Vaughan City Jail is now one of the highlights of Doors Open. So this is the story of the first decades of the opening of the jail, beginning in 1881. The book tells the story of the lives of the men, women, and even children that were imprisoned there, sometimes under harsh conditions. Notorious serial killers like George Nelson were hanged on location. Leaders of the general strikes like Mayor Queen, future Mayor Queen, were also imprisoned there for a time. And this is also the story of the efforts of the criminal system in Manitoba to tackle with criminality, and whether criminals could be reformed and how best to do so. So overall, this is another great local history read I would recommend. And finally, I would like to encourage you to keep watching our social media feed, our YouTube channels, to keep apprised of our latest recommended reads and promotional videos. Thank you, and have a good day.